On this week's episode, Ticketmaster upends the Taylor Swift tour. Part 1 of our Black Friday deals, and some lasting memories at the end of The Walking Dead. All this and more as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glasser from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our great shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do whatever it is that you can, of course, to go ahead and support us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week. Right there for you each and every day. Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, and of course, wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, also as well, the Lakers Fast Break covering the NBA and, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers. Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Of course, the great folks at Vampires and Vitae. Plus, also as well, Wizards and Wine with Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Catch both those awesome programs today and follow them. And also go ahead and subscribe to them at YouTube. Plus, also as well, our good friend, Mr. Josh Peterson. Hopefully, we'll be back on the weekend show. Hopefully, go ahead and stop by then, because he's going to be a busy man, because he's got the holidays set out for his new store called the Happy Hoarder. So go ahead and support the Happy Hoarder today on Facebook. Plus, also as well, popculturecosmos.com, and the fact that we have tons and tons of hours of tabletop RPG goodness right there waiting in the archives of Pop Culture Cosmos in the video section. If you could support all of that, it is sincerely appreciated. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend. She is the mastermind behind everything Black Friday. It's a good friend indeed. You got to go ahead and catch what she's doing today over at Vampires and Vitae, Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and of course, everything that she does for us here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. It is my good friend. It is Melinda Barkhouse Ross. And Melinda, great to have you back, wreaking havoc in the cosmos once again.
Hey, that's how I roll, man.
We're rolling. Do, rolling.
Yeah.
Do, yeah.
A lot of that.
I've actually been listening to a lot of Weird Al Yankovic songs since I watched Weird, just refreshing my memory at how the greatness of Weird Al Yankovic is.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, White Nerdy is one of his better songs. And yeah, I just have a great fondness for a lot of his songs in his category. And in fact, many of the parodies that he made are actually better than the original songs that he actually parodied. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because I'm not the only one that thinks
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. It has been said before. And of course, as soon as you watch the Weird Al movie, you're going to have to go and listen to Weird Al music. I think that those two things are two things that must happen in succession of each other.
Absolutely. It is available right now on Roku. And I will say Weird, the Al Yankovic story is a pretty good one. I was meaning to tell you last week, because we got circumvented by the state of pro wrestling, but wanted to tell you that it is a good watch. It's about 10 to 15 minutes, a little bit too long in the tooth on the back end, but the first half is absolutely brilliant and hilarious and funny, and absolutely throughout, you do not need to take it seriously. It is not a serious biopic by any stretch of the imagination. It's a parody of a biopic and a parody of himself. Weird Al, there's a couple things, little grains of truth in some of what that's there, but obviously when he got a chance to go ahead and replace Pablo Escobar as a drug lord, that part is a little bit of a stretch. And then it turns out to be Madonna taking over. Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
But also, I did learn that when Daniel Radcliffe was on the set, apparently a common thing that happens on movie sets is the actor playing the role just gets called the role. So Daniel Radcliffe was being called Weird Al. So over the the comms, you would hear weird to the set, weird to the set. And Weird Al Yankovic was actually there. So they just started calling him Normal Al. And Daniel Radcliffe became Weird Al. And I guess the real Weird Al. That's just confusing. Um, wasn't really sure how he felt about that. He's like, I built an entire career on being weird, and now I'm being called normal on my own biopic.
Well, what was funny though is seeing Harry Potter just like not roid rage or anything like that, but just he massively bulked up for the role. It just was so funny to see Harry Potter just like buffing up like that. I just was that I couldn't get over. Just the fact that what if he had been that bulky? What if he had been that muscular during the Harry Potter series? He would have just finished off everybody else. Voldemort would have finished his behind by the second movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, right from the very beginning, he could have put his aunt and uncle in the cabinet under the stairs, and then
Yeah,
called it a day.
absolutely.
Hello,
Flexing
auntie.
out, right in
Indeed.
front of Baltimore as he's standing over him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I got you, bud. Got you. Yep, all the way. But that's just my thoughts. But yeah, weird the
That
Al
was
Yankovic.
the best Daniel Radcliffe impression I've ever seen. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
there you go. Absolutely. But yeah, it was actually very good. I thought it was a very good movie. I just thought it was a little bit long on the back end, but if you can again be having a sense of humor as you go into it and a sense of humor as you go out of it, it is definitely worth the watch. I think it's a great start to Roku's I guess, movie making career as far as that's concerned, because this is one of their first live action movie offerings. So I'm hoping that they'll continue that process. But yes, what a way to start off with Weird the Al Yankovic story. But we've got a great show for you on tap today. We'll talk about the latest news when it comes to Ticketmaster and the fiasco that's currently going on in regards to Taylor Swift. We'll also talk some of the surprising and not so surprising things about the Grammy nominations. Also, want to talk about Andor, episode 11. Very interesting things are happening as it sets itself up for the season finale of one of the best things that have ever been produced in the Star Wars universe. I want to go ahead and say that right now, but we'll talk about that on the show. Also, want to talk about some of our Black Friday deals we're targeting. Get the pun there? Targeting. There you go. We're
I
going to be
see you.
looking
I
at
see you.
Yep, we're going to be looking at that later on in the show as far as our Black Friday Part 1 preview. Plus, also, as well, we cannot ignore the weekend's biggest video game release, Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. We got to give some love to Pokemon, and we'll tell you why on the back end of the show as well. Plus, my good friend Daphne Matthew. She's here to share some final thoughts and memories of The Walking Dead. Although she'll probably be on for when the spin-offs come around and some of the other stuff that's coming around in the universe. The Rick Grimes series, which was once a movie, which is now going to be a series because not as many people watch The Walking Dead anymore. But she's going to be sharing her memories of The Walking Dead. That's coming up on the show as well. But first, my friend, the Swifties are incensed right now. It is not a good time to be a Taylor Swift fan. I know that my daughter was thinking about going to one of these shows that had been extended because they gave 17 more dates on top of, I believe, the 52 that had already been set. And one of them was another date here in Las Vegas, and everybody was excited as far as getting tickets for the tour. But a little thing happened along the way to getting tickets for the Taylor Swift Eras tour. And that is Ticketmaster itself could absolutely not handle the overload of Swifties and Taylor Swift fans purchasing tickets. It actually overloaded the site earlier this week and got to the point where, as of now, everything's in limbo because, well, Ticketmaster has suspended all ticket buying on the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, which has everybody in an uproar. I remember Ticketmaster back in the day, my gosh, back in the 80s. That's how long Ticketmaster has been around. Ticketmaster's been one of the premier sources of ticket buying, and at times the only way you could buy tickets for specific events. If this is going to continue to be the case, I think that, it's been called a monopoly in the past. I think that Ticketmaster's days as the biggest entity in ticket buying, they may be numbered.
Yeah, and you know what? Long overdue, honestly.
Hmm.
In my opinion, because when you go ahead and you pick up a ticket that on their website says $38, and then all of the Ticketmaster fees and
It's like
additional
buying an airline
charges.
ticket.
Yeah, they end up being over like $120. You're like, I thought the ticket said 38. Why am I paying over $100 for this ticket? And I'm in the nosebleeds. This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild. But also, now I'm kind of two minds, not just about Ticketmaster, but so the music industry never really recovered once things went digital. When the whole
Napster
like
thing.
Napster thing started, and Spotify, and we know that Spotify doesn't really pay artists like very well per stream of their music and all of that kind of stuff. Well, we know that there's a lot that the music industry hasn't really managed to really figure out in the digital age, which is crazy to me. But also, um, you look at the tours. Sorry, I'm the maritime in me is coming out. Just hang on a
No
second.
worries.
The tours that people are going on and the ticket prices, I think, are being raised
Astronomical.
astronomically, yes, but I think that it's being looked at as now like a major revenue stream to help replace what we're missing from the sale of physical CDs and records and cassettes and stuff like that. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just something
No,
that I've
no,
been
I
thinking
agree
about
with
the
you
last couple of
wholeheartedly.
days since the story broke.
Now, I
I
mean,
mean,
that's why she added 17 dates to her tour, making it 52 dates. That's why Harry Styles, before he got sick, was actually going to play within a short period of time 15 dates, I believe, at the Los Angeles Forum. He's actually going to he's actually going to go ahead and finish off three that he missed due to illness later in January. But that's 15 dates at the Forum. I think he also had another 15 or so, I think almost a month at the Madison Square Garden sold out. You're absolutely right. This is a way for them to go ahead and generate revenue that they're losing in digital streaming.
yeah, absolutely. And because I mean, when you go to a concert and you go to buy a t-shirt or any merch or anything like that, it's always a little bit pricey, but that's
Just a little
that's
bit? Let me give you an
yeah.
example. So my daughter and I went to Los Angeles the same time Harry Styles is playing at the Forum, and
Okay.
we went to go see K-pop band ITZY, which was right next door on the other side of SoFi Stadium. We got the Forum, SoFi Stadium. Then we went to YouTube, the YouTube small theater that they have. About seats about 4 or 5 thousand. We saw ITZY, which is an up and coming K-pop band on their first U.S. tour. And my daughter was so excited. Absolutely, of course, get the tickets. They're overpriced, yada yada yada. And then you go into waiting for merchandise or food. That was like an hour and a half wait, so we didn't decide to do that. So we left a little early. But while they were doing their encore, first one in line to go get a shirt sure was $50, and they're not even autographing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You see this?
Absolutely.
That's
Yes.
my face.
Yeah.
That's the face I made then when I heard it was $50 and they're not even autographing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going
Wow,
to make
right?
this face for another 30 seconds, but please continue.
Yeah. So, and I mean, we see, Ticketmaster, well, okay, I'm just going to refer to it as the Ticketmaster effect because it's scalable pricing, I think is what they're calling it. So the more in demand an artist's concert is, the higher value they're putting on the tickets. So the more they're charging for them. So for example, Adele with her residency here in Las Vegas, I think it was upper bowl ticket is $54,000
Outstanding if
for
you're her.
one
Not so
seat.
outstanding if you're trying to buy it.
One seat. Can you imagine?
Was it 54,000 or 5,400?
No, it was 1,000. I
Really?
kid you not, because I was looking at it and I was like,
And it wasn't on a
that's
second-hand site. It was just as far as a reseller
yeah,
trying to do.
it was an article that somebody had written about it, and they were talking about, thank God these affordable Adele tickets have been released. It's only 54,000 to sit in the nosebleeds now. It was, I mean, the article obviously was, smacked of sarcasm, but it's just an example of this idea that okay, so the only way to fight back, I think, is for us as fans of these artists is to just not go to their show. And that sucks. That's our only option in order to show like this is not okay. This is not how we want to support you. I would love to see you in concert, Adele, but 54,000? Do you know what kind of vehicle I can get for 54,000 and I don't have to Uber anymore? Do you know how
Well,
much of a down payment that is on a house here in Vegas? It's
I can
crazy.
I can also say that, that's just outrageous. And the fact is, the problem with a mass people, not pulling out their wallet and not buying these seats is the fact that, they are buying these seats no matter what
Yeah,
the price. They're having to
yeah,
go ahead and see Taylor Swift. Once those tickets go back on sale, it's going to be the sheer demand all over again. There's
yeah,
never, no matter what she prices, or excuse me, what whoever's in charge of that, what they price those seats here, whether it's here at Allegiant Stadium, here in Las Vegas, or any of the other stadiums that's involved in this 52 date tour, that it's just something that's going to be eaten up. And then once they're all sold out, the only way to, if there's even more demand on it, it's going to be resellers reselling it. I know there's protections against that, but it doesn't always work. There's still, ways to go ahead and get around that. Yeah, it just, to me right now, it is just obscene for just the average Joe, the average Swifty, the average individual, as far as that makes an average living, or even a little bit less. It's just almost impossible to go and see their heroes live in these type of forums.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you remember the day where we used to be, you know, um really enjoy the connection that Taylor had with her fans when she would go and she would like go to their house and drop off Christmas presents for them. Do you remember
Hmm.
watching any videos like that with her?
I've seen that, and she's really done a good job of that in the past. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. So I mean, she's been awfully quiet. At least I haven't heard any statement released by Taylor
There
Swift or,
has
or
been no.
seen.
Several news outlets have tried to get in statement, and unfortunately, there's not been, and which is also making it sad because I don't want to go ahead and criticize her too much because she has done such an outstanding job. Her album recently came out in all 10 slots, the first time in history that I believe a female artist has garnered the top 10 spots in the Billboard Hot 100. When she released her album, and that was great for her. And congratulations to her, but I would have loved to have seen her say something in regards to this fiasco, just to assure fans that she actually does care and that she actually does want people to go ahead and see her concerts, and not just the people who can pay the highest price, but everyone that is able to go ahead and get an opportunity to. I mean, I appreciate the fact that she opened up 17 more slots for stadiums to go ahead and fill up. That's another 50 to 60 to 70,000 people that may be able to see her, but you still got to make it affordable, and you still got to go ahead and make it accessible. And being on this, almost, I can't say monopoly, but almost like monopoly that you and I have been known about, or you and I know about for years in Ticketmaster, that's got to end. It's got to be like more like a well structured, better structured format where people can buy a ticket from a different part of the ticket buying universe than just one place, because you see the ill effects of that when somebody really popular like Taylor Swift announces a tour.
Yeah, absolutely. And with her latest album too, I mean, everything that I've read, because I honestly I haven't sat down to listen to the album because I don't have time to sit down. But
No, that's
you
okay.
know,
You could tell me the real
the
truth that you could tell me the real truth that Robbie actually has taken it
yeah,
from you and is now
yeah,
playing it somewhere in the corner in another room. That's okay. You can
right.
tell me the truth.
Okay, well, I mean,
He's a
we'll talk.
Swifty. We know he's a Swifty.
He is a Swiftie, and we'll go into further detail on that after the show tonight because
Okay.
I don't know how much of his love for Taylor Swift he wants
Juicy
plastered on the internet,
details. I
but
love it.
I know, I know, but like that album of Taylor Swift's sold 1.5 million in the first month, and it shocked, and it was just in the United States. That doesn't count North America. That's not global sales.
And
That's
that's
just in the
actually a
United
large
States.
number now in this modern era. That's something
Yeah,
that used to happen quite a bit in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s before, like you said, Napster. But since the age of digital streaming, that doesn't usually happen anymore.
Exactly. And so you have all of this compounded into now this tour, and Ticketmaster just saying, sorry, we just don't have tickets for the regular sale. So if you were able to get and afford them in the pre-sale, thumbs up to you, kid. But if you didn't, too bad. And they had to have you, like, in order to get the tickets too, you had to pre-register, and a selection of those people were sent a code, and the code is what you needed to be able to to be part of the pre-sale. That didn't go as planned, and I think they oversold that. Yeah, there's just a lot of questions around how all of this went down, and it's under the microscope. It's so hard right now because Taylor Swift fans are wild. They fight for Taylor. They get into arguments on the internet with other artists' fans on her behalf, whether she likes it or not. Swifties are one group of people you do not want to mess with. And mark my words, it'll be the Swifties that change Ticketmaster. It's going to happen.
I'm
And
still
they're
waiting
going to
for Weird
force.
Al doing a parody of one of her songs. Or has he? I don't remember if he has,
I
but
don't know if he has or not. I wonder if
yeah.
that's because she wouldn't give him permission. I wonder.
That has to be the first thing. He doesn't
That's
like, he
yeah.
could if he wanted to because it's a parody, but he doesn't like to do it without the permission from the artist because after the Coolio fiasco, he likes to make sure, doubly sure, triply sure that
Yeah.
he's getting the permission from the actual artists themselves. So yeah,
Yeah.
that'll
Yeah.
be
But
cool though.
anyway, yeah, the Swifties are going to change Ticketmaster, and we will have Taylor Swift fans to thank for it. So,
And the government is going to probably get involved, most likely here in the United States. So I know that's going to be something that a lot of people are looking forward to as far as changes within the ticket buying industry, which I hope will happen because it's long overdue. But right now, there's a lot of problems going on with buying a ticket for the current upcoming Taylor Swift Eras Tour. If you have any thoughts on the Taylor Swift Ticketmaster fiasco, please share us your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But before we hit the break, my friend, wanted to go ahead, speaking of music, a little bit more of a musical tone, and shout out to one of our good friends, Alternative Twist Radio, who has asked us every now and then to touch a little bit more into the music scene as far as that's concerned. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure we let them know. We always, when we can, try to give some love to our good friends in the music industry, especially with your background in the music industry. So got to make sure we give us some love for that. But the Grammy nominations were announced this past week, and I think the best news coming out of it is that Beyonce at the dinner table now with her and her husband, of course, the world famous Jay-Z, she can now hold her head high as if she couldn't before. I'm sure she could have before. It would have been no problem for her because, she sold like what, umpteen million records and,
yeah.
tremendous actress and tremendous artist. And, of course, one of the most beloved music figures of all time. But let's just say that she wasn't so keen on being, behind her husband in Grammy nominations. Well, 9 nominations, she sort of eradicated that. So no problem. They both now have 88 Grammy nominations. So now she can go, aha, 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 at the dinner table. Of course, that means just an outstanding career for both of them. So congratulations to her. And again, well deserved if you heard her latest album and all the songs on it. But Harry Styles, who we talked about a little bit, he has had a great year, a tremendous year on the music scene. Let's not talk about the movie scene. I did see Don't Worry, Darling, and I'll just leave it at that. But on the music scene, there's no doubt he's had a tremendous amount of success. And of course, As It Was is his greatest hit, several weeks at number one, and that's also been nominated. A lot of other great names have been there as far as Lizzo, who's also having a fantastic year. Any thoughts on the Grammy nominations before we head to the break?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think it will be wild for Beyonce to not walk away with multiple awards this year. And
And well
honestly,
deserved, I might add.
oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. I wasn't trying to make that sound like I was just like surrendering my
No,
guess
no, but I
towards
was teasing
Beyonce,
as
but
far as the at the dinner table stuff. I have a feeling when you've got a Grammy nominated artist with 88 nominations and the other one had 80, 79 nominations, I think you're good. I think you're
Yeah, I
good.
think they're probably okay.
Yes.
But as far as, and I hang on a second, I can't remember if it was songwriter no, song of the year, I will be shocked,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna say shocked, if it's not Sarah Davis with ABCDEFU. That song was everywhere for a very long time. We just weren't able to get away from it. And so I'm eyeballing that one for song of the year, which to me is one of the bigger categories that I always watch out for. I would love to see a Lizzo About Damn Time take that as well. So either two of those songs in that category, I'd be wonderfully happy with to take home the Grammy for those. So that's probably the category I watch for the most. After that, I would love to see Doja Cat take home um a Grammy or two this year. I think that would be great. And of course, we're going to have Adele, I would imagine, grace the stage to take home another Grammy.
And there is a little bit of K-pop, which has also dominated the scene the past couple of
Mm.
years. BTS is on pop's best pop solo performance. I think that they'll probably be very high up there as far as included in that mix. The name that pops out to me is something, even with all these modern names, of course, the Adeles, the Beyoncés, the Taylor Swifts, the Lizzos, the Kendrick Lamars, Harry Styles, all these great names. The name that pops up to me that kind of made me go, okay, I'm scrolling. Well, I stopped. I can't believe she's still making some good hits that people are enjoying, that the Grammys are enjoying, is Bonnie Raitt. Tell me a little bit more about Bonnie Raitt and the success that she's doing right now with her latest song that got nominated for the Grammys.
Yeah, I mean, Bonnie Raitt is one of those artists who has been part of. I'm gonna call it the fabric of the music scene for such a long time. She's a huge presence and part of a lot of projects that a lot of people don't even realize she's part of.
Just like that is killing it for her. So that's what got
Yeah.
nominated.
Yeah, absolutely. And also best pop duo group performance. If it's not Sam Smith and Kim Petras for Unholy, I will be shocked.
Yeah,
That
that
song is
actually reached as far
everywhere
as
right
number
now.
one for I think a week or 2 weeks, and that
Yeah.
has been actually right now just hitting the pop radio scene right now. It's been a big favorite. I know of what's going on recently, so I know that's a lot of
Yep.
people are liking that. I think
Yep.
that a lot of people are also fascinated by the best pop vocal album, the best pop vocal album nominees because you have Lizzo, you have Harry Styles, Coldplay, which is one of my all-time favorite bands, but I know they have
Yep.
no chance against those heavyweights. Adele. What about the return of ABBA?
I was just gonna say, so ABBA, I mean, they're nominated in a whole bunch of different categories, but one of them is the best pop duo group performance. And
Mhm.
as
How
much as I would
surprised
love,
are you that
I
they're
well,
returning and their
I am, and
return's been
I'm
so much loved?
yeah, I am surprised and I'm not surprised at the same time. And I think that the Grammys are gonna have a very hard time getting through an entire broadcast and not feeling that bit of nostalgia and having ABBA on the Grammy stage. I will be very surprised if they don't take home at least one award during the evening's broadcast.
If there's one surprise, I think in the best dance electronic recording, I know Beyonce's Break My Soul is there. That's going to be a heavy favorite, but I would not say to forget. Or I say don't underestimate David Guetta and BB Rexa with I'm Good. That song has also been one of those long lasting hits that's been out there for a little while now. So please don't forget that as far as if you're in the betting scene. I think what we're seeing right now as far as what is a great mix of new, of modern, of staples that have been around for a decade or so, but also some of the old timers like ABBA and Bonnie Raitt. That's been great. Danny Elfman has also been nominated to tell you how different this set of nominations have been. I know my friend actually got a chance to see him on his Halloween performance doing all the stuff that he is so well known for doing from his days with Oingo Boingo to obviously the many soundtracks that he's been a part of as far as that's concerned. So looking forward to seeing if he has a chance in his nominated category. But overall, I think it's been a good eclectic mix of new, of current, and the past, honoring all three of these stages of these music careers.
Yeah, I agree, and Bryan Adams is even listed as in one of the
And he wasn't
nominees
cutting
this
like a
year.
knife.
No, and he wasn't, and it's also not the summer of '69, so wait, is that Bryan Adams or is that somebody
Yeah,
else?
that's yep. It was the
Yeah.
summer of yep, yep, absolutely.
Oh, right? I mean, come on.
And the only reason I
Um,
know that is because that's the summer when I was born. But yeah,
oh.
I digress from that.
But I mean, like, what a I think that the Grammys, just at first, glance here, it does look like you're right. It is a very eclectic list this year. It looks like, it's, could shape up to even be an entertaining broadcast to go ahead and watch if they're gonna have this much of a mix of new and, we'll call it classic talent coming back. So,
Absolutely. It's
um
almost as entertaining as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recently with Duran Duran and Dolly Parton.
oh my gosh, yes.
But we'll see what happens there. But it is the Grammy nominations. If you have any thoughts or any expected winners, Taylor Swift, of course, Harry Styles, of course, Beyonce, scoring some big nominations, and congratulations to all of them and wishing them all the best of success at the Grammys. But if you have any thoughts on the Grammy nominations, ABBA, Bonnie Raitt, Brian Adams, Danny Elfman, Coldplay, who knows is going to win? But if you have any thoughts of who are going to win, who are going to win the Grammys, please let us know your thoughts. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Coming up next is my interview with my good friend, Miss Daphne Matthew. Of course, she's part of the great group, The Talking Dead, Talking the Walking Dead. She's part of a great Facebook group that honors The Walking Dead. She's going to be right after the break. She's going to be talking to me about her lasting memories of The Walking Dead as it hits its final episode, until they do the spinoffs, of course, and all that other stuff. The final episode of The Walking Dead. She's going to talk about her memories from that show and why she's a good fan, one of the best fans of The Walking Dead. That comes up next. This is the PCC Multiverse. And we're about to close out the shows, the PCC Multiverse. Want to thank once again Daphne Matthew from one of the great Facebook groups, the Walking Dead fan base that's out there. Go ahead and follow it today on Facebook. Because again, the Walking Dead universe, even though the main series is done, it will rise again like a zombie in another form, in another way, in another fashion. You know that's coming around the corner real soon. But Melinda, before we head on out, got a couple things we want to talk about. Before we get to the Black Friday deals, I
Yes.
want to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about Andor, episode 11,
Okay.
which has Cassian Andor escaping the prison and actually surviving the brutal escape. Him and his fellow inmate who actually did appear in the Rogue One movie. So they tie that in, which was very
Mm,
interesting. I didn't know that until I was watching one of those YouTube videos letting me know he was in actually Rogue One, helping to plan the actual Scarif, the actual ending of Rogue One and all that, helping to plan that out with the rebellion. So that worked out very nicely for that. But I wanted to go ahead and talk to you about Andor itself, heading into its season finale with everything going on with Stellan Skarsgård's Luthen, talking to Forrest Whitaker's famous character, and just in the Rogue One, and they're trying to go ahead and negotiate this out as far as setting up a part of the rebellion, a ragtag group that's going to get, I guess, because I guess going to get slaughtered. 50 men in the rebellion are going to get slaughtered because unfortunately they need to go ahead and be sacrificed, because if they didn't, then the Empire would know something's amiss, because there's about to be going ahead and get those get things underway. But yeah, basically right now just is setting itself up for a great conclusion. Andor, he's just really confused right now because he finds out his not his actual mom, but his spiritual mom, the woman who actually helped raise him, passed away. He doesn't know what to do at this point in time. It's looking very confusing. He's still unsure about which way to go, as far as to help the rebellion or just go away and flee on his own. It's really compelling to where we're seeing it, and of course the Empire, from the Empire side, to see them starting to lay some pressure on the rebellion itself. They're understanding what the rebellion is and is starting to lay a little bit of pressure on it. Your thoughts on Andor? Is it something you're eventually going to go ahead and check out? Because I know I've given you on more than one occasion my thoughts on this series as really being something special in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and it is one of those shows that I'm gonna work my way around to, but it's also one of those shows that I wanna make sure that I have the time to be distraction free while I watch it because you've given it such rave reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wanna be doing something else and just happen to have it on in the background. I don't want that to be how I take in the show, and
Oh, you
right
mean while
now
Robbie Ross is listening to Taylor Swift songs?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
just want to make sure.
Or trying to log on to Ticketmaster to get a ticket.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, it's the time right now is pretty scarce, and I'm hoping that that's eventually schedule is going to loosen up a little bit, and I'll have some time to actually sit and be still and focus on one thing. It is absolutely on my list of things that I need to take in, and as I said, it's just something that I want to make sure that I have the time and the ability to really focus on it because I want to be able to take it in. I really liked the Rogue One story and everything that it set up. So I'm excited to sit down and watch it, but I just like right now I mean, like, tonight's not the night to start it, you know? Tomorrow is probably not gonna be the night to start it, and then the weekend happens, for me, which is Sunday, Monday, and, we play 12 hours worth of RPG games in 24 hours sorry, 48 hours, so, that doesn't leave me a whole lot of time for much else, so, it's just going to be sitting down and finding that time, to really dedicate to watching it.
Well, when you do, it is definitely
Mhm.
worth the watch. I mean, the different feel, the gritty feel that it has, the more adult feel that it has, the outstanding performance from none other than Andy Serkis, who I think
Mhm.
gives an Emmy winning performance, not nominated performance. I don't think he'll be. I'm hoping he'll be nominated. I don't think he'll win, but it is an Emmy winning performance. It's the best live action Andy Serkis performance I've ever seen. Of course, when you're going against his Claw character in the Marvel universe, that isn't saying much, but I'm talking about even against Gollum and against his other great voices that he's made over the course of his voice acting career, but definitely his best by far live action performance, playing a key role in the prison break for Cassian Andor. And I think that is something that you've got to go ahead and catch. Stellan Skarsgård has been outstanding as the guy behind or trying to pull the strings behind the rebellion and trying to gather all this up and making the sacrifices that need to be made for the larger cause that unfortunately need to be made with the cost of very many lives. But it shows that Luthen, in order to go ahead and defeat the Empire, is about he's really ready and willing to go as low as possible in order to go ahead and defeat the Empire one day down the road. He's willing to play the long game and see where it goes, even if he knows himself, and he's already admitted on the show that he probably won't be around to see it.
Right, yeah, and, I mean, you can't, I mean, and I've seen a couple like, on YouTube, you see a scene here, you see a scene there, "Did you see
Mhm.
this?" and "Did you see this
He
thing that
is
happened?"
captivating, especially him and
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker. Seeing those two giants
Oh,
in the
man.
industry act
Yeah.
together, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, and Forrest Whitaker is one of those actors that, if he's attached to a project, you're probably gonna like it. Like, he doesn't really have a whole lot of misses,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a great adventure. Hopefully, people enjoy it. And the season ending, which I'm hoping you'll get a season two. I believe it will. They've actually filmed it. They admitted this week they actually filmed it 2 years ago. So hopefully, they'll get a approval for season two to go ahead and start on that. But it is Andor, episode 11. Let us know your thoughts if you like the series so far. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Before we head on out, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and mention to you, get your Switch together because the latest super mega hit is on its way this weekend, and that's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And, a lot of people are snickering right now, laughing right now. But if I told you that Pokemon Sword and Shield on the Switch has already sold over 24 million copies combined, Diamond and Pearl on the DS was 17 million. The Red, Blue, and Green on the Game Boy was 31 million. Gold and Silver on the Game Boy Color was 23 million. This is a major property for Nintendo. And with Scarlet and Violet, if it does anywhere near those numbers, or even if it does half those numbers, it's going to be one of the biggest hits of 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just Googling right now to see if there are any Nintendo Switch deals for Black Friday. I'm just having a quick
Actually, there
look.
is, which we'll touch on here in a
Yes.
second. So,
Hmm.
I'll mention that in a second. But any thoughts on Pokemon Violet and Scarlet before we get to the Black Friday deals?
I was I ahead of yeah, I so Pokemon was like I kind of grew out of the Pokemon age as Pokemon was coming out. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think my
Mm-hmm.
sister is more like in the top of that pocket than I was even close to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean I know about Pikachu and Charizard.
Charizard.
Yep.
Charizard. And now, if you
That's
had a Charizard card in great condition, a lot of people would
yep.
want to talk to you right now. I'll
Oh,
just put it that way.
really? Is that a fact? Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I have some crayons and
Mm-hmm.
a marker here. Does that count?
No, that doesn't really count.
No.
That's okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, my
Some
artistic
of them are
ability
worth
is
hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm not even
oh my
kidding.
gosh. Yeah. But yeah, so it's as far as games go, I've seen some gameplay and stuff and it looks amusing. It looks fun to play and that's really all that you ask out of video games is that you be engaging and fun and it seems to be the way that these games all look. So, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a Nintendo Switch, but I'm not necessarily looking at it just because of Pokemon, but it would probably be on the list of games that I would consider.
Well, I will tell you why. This is finally the year, if you've not already, to get one of the most popular systems of all time in the
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch. And I'll tell you that here in a sec. But if you are looking at getting or playing Pokemon Violet or Scarlet this weekend, please let us know your thoughts, how you're enjoying the game, if it's something that you want to keep on playing, if it's something you're interested in getting, something that you hope you're getting as a holiday gift. Please let us know your thoughts on the latest Pokemon hit to hit the Switch, Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But my friend, before we head on out, one last thing. It's our part one of our Black Friday preview, and you wanted to touch a little bit on the video games, and I will, because we'll start off with the Nintendo Switch because all the major retailers out there are getting the bundles for Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch, I believe, is announced over 130 million all-time sales. I believe it's somewhere in that neighborhood. It's one of the highest all-time. But in order to keep on selling, because the lifespan of this is starting to teeter a little bit on the downside of the sales.
Okay.
So, in order to try and boost that up for the holiday season, they have packaged right now a Switch with one of the most popular, if not the most popular, game on the platform, Mario Kart 8,
Oh man.
for the regular $299 price, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Man. All right. That's my big gift this year. I need a pen
Okay.
so I can write it down for Robbie.
Okay. Well, I'm just telling you that's right now is I mean, you're not going to get it any better than that. You probably won't see a drop in price anytime soon for it, but to get it bundled with Mario Kart 8, which is, I believe, the most popular game on the platform, I think it's something that is got to be considered for everyone out there. So please, if you have not gotten a Switch, if you're the 20 people like Melinda who have not gotten a Nintendo Switch as of yet, now is the absolute time to get it. I assure you, because it is something that I think that everybody's going to enjoy. But yes, getting it packaged with a Nintendo Switch and a Mario Kart 8 is going to be something a lot of people are looking at indeed. But I also wanted to mention that in retaliation, even though it was reported that Xbox is losing $100 to $150 sometimes on every single Xbox S or X that they sell. Guess what they're going to do this holiday season as far as the Black Friday sales are concerned? They're dropping the price of their most affordable and best valued console right now in the Xbox Series S. It is dropping from an already good price of $299 to an even better price of $249. So while PlayStation 5 in areas around the world is going up, Xbox Series S, that price for Black Friday It's going down to 249, and that's all
Yeah.
major retailers in the United States.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win the console wars.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
know, that's
Yeah.
that's how you do it. Yeah.
I know PlayStation, if you're interested in PlayStation 5, they have the digital bundle with God of War Ragnarok, which they're so proud of. That's going to be at 429. I think that's going to be 429 if I'm not mistaken. And then they have the regular PlayStation 5 bundle, the actual full complete, I think with the disc drive and everything, that is going to be at 550 if I'm not mistaken. So that bundle is already set up. I'll confirm the prices here in a minute, but PlayStation 5 is doing a bundle. You see Nintendo Swift is doing a bundle. You see Xbox lowering the price on one of their major consoles. They're, just a great console, a great entry console. If you're not worried about the 4K end of it and you just want a good resolution and a nice running stream that's going to play all the modern games. I think that the console wars, even though we thought this was an off year for video games, I think it's turning out to be at least a decent holiday season for the video game industry.
Yeah, it could be setting up a heck of a year for 2023. We don't really know. So,
Yeah.
hopefully the let's just get consoles in people's hands is indicative of a lot of big drops next year. Well, I mean, we'll see, but
We'll see, we'll
fingers
see. But
crossed.
again, I think I'm really liking what I'm seeing because the fact again that they are trying to make it more affordable for the holiday season and see what they can do to try and make it more attractive. It's 559. Just want to let you know for the PlayStation 5 console God of War Ragnarok bundle. That's the complete one, I believe, with the disc drive that you can go ahead and get. And they have the all digital version, the digital only version, about $100 less at 459. So that's 559 for the full PlayStation 5 God of War Ragnarok bundle, and then the digital edition, which has no disc drive, that's at 459. So if you're interested, it's going to be right there for you. Again, all these players are getting involved with it. I know we talked about also as well, if you're in the United States and you are interested in getting a new TV, we talked about, guess what? Even though they've been dropping ads every Monday
Oof,
on some Black Friday surprises, they finally dropped earlier today, as we're recording this, a Black Friday ad. And wouldn't you know, it's got a whopper of a deal. If you're in the mood for a 65-inch television,
man.
228 at Walmart on Black
Yeah.
Friday.
I mean, you could go 70-inch, a 4K LED SmartCast smart TV for $448. A 70-inch TV. Are you kidding me right now at that price? That's crazy.
So what you need to
Holy
do,
smokes.
Melinda, you need to,
Yeah.
actually get Robbie as he's listening to Taylor Swift there in one of
Yep.
the rooms to
Yep.
get him to go ahead and wait in line now and to make sure that he's available to go ahead and do so, right? So, you got to make sure you get that. You got to make sure. You got to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, I got some big items on the Christmas list this year, so
Absolutely.
he's gonna have to go camping, I
I could
think.
see you just like opening up the door and yelling, "Robbie, stop listening to Taylor Swift right now. You got to go and head over to Walmart."
Yeah,
Yes.
70-inch TVs are on sale.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we're gonna have some more Black Friday thoughts and much more Black Friday deals with Josh and I on the Monday shows. So hopefully listen to that. Looking forward to our conversation then. But Belinda, any last Black Friday or any thoughts on the way out?
Yes. Have you watched any of the Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix?
I've only seen the previews as it comes through my algorithm.
Whew. Okay, so we sat down not knowing what it was when
Mhm.
we put them on, and it's a bunch of like short films that have been put together by and I can never pronounce his name properly. I'm sorry. Um Del Toro?
Oh, Benicio del Toro, who's going to be doing the
Yes.
Pinocchio movie.
Yes.
One
So
of Josh's favorite directors.
he put together a series of these independent movie directors, and they've all done these short horror films. And
Anthology per se.
yeah, and there's one that takes place basically through a tunnel system underground. I'm not going to tell you too much because I don't want to spoil it.
Mhm.
But days later, I'm still affected by it. It was terrible because the guy keeps winning. He keeps winning, and then he keeps winning. And then maybe or maybe he doesn't win. But like it was gut wrenching to watch. So I'm not a fan of horror. We've talked about that a lot.
Mhm.
But the way that at least the couple that I've managed to sit down and have time to watch, the way that they've been done and presented, they're um like intriguing horror. They're not just scary for the sake of a jump scare. Like it's psychological horror. It's in confined spaces and what that would do to you and yeah, it's really something to watch if you happen to have some time, and you, wanna think about something that's gonna be in the back of your head for, like, 2 weeks.
Oh boy,
Definitely give Cabinets of Curiosity a chance. Well, I've
can't
been
wait.
talking to people oh, yeah, I've been talking to people at work about it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's something else." So, yeah.
All
If all
right.
of the saccharine holiday stuff is a little bit too much, that shift of gear is going to be exactly what you need.
All right, absolutely. So I'm glad I might give it a chance. Absolutely, see if I can go ahead and do it on that recommendation. Also, as well, got to make sure I listen to the Taylor Swift latest album because you never know. I could be like Robbie and find my own room to go ahead and check out her latest songs.
Absolutely. You may also find $75,000 and be able to sit in the nosebleeds at one of her shows. Who knows?
This is true, but the tickets may never go on sale, so we'll
Oh,
see.
that's true.
So for Melinda Barkhouse Ross, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great